How are you? My first question is, what are the most common reason for children, teenagers, adults to act violently?
I think that most people would obviously blame a lot of things. One of them, the technological revolution, things like television, computer games, and so forth. And I think it's very easy to blame these things, but I think those who should take the most responsibility would be adults, and by adults I mean parents as well. I think that parents should be aware of what their children are watching, what they are doing, and being aware of certain things around them. That is very very important. So I think that's the main reason.
Okay. And why do people decide to solve their problems with use of violence?
I think it's sometimes you feel you just don't have another choice, and in some cultures, for example, it's a matter of honor. Boys who are young teenagers, they have a high level of hormones, and they have to stand up for something. And if you are willing to stand up by fighting, for example, it shows that you're a real man. So in some cultures, it's just accepted, and violence has been with us for generations. It's not something we can just get rid of automatically.
Okay. How can we prevent aggression?
That's a very difficult question. I think people have been trying to do that for a very long time. Firstly, perhaps what we could do is to make people more aware of aggression, to make them aware of the fact that there are alternatives, that there are other things that we can do. The aggression is definitely not the right answer. Um, Debate, speaking. I think a problem with aggression sometimes is people don't have another way to express their problems. They don't have anyone to talk with, and that's where aggression sometimes come out. So that could be one thing to look at it, but I think there would be perhaps many more solutions. But for now, that's the one I can think of.
Where to find help if someone becomes a victim of violence?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that myself. I think every country, it should be different. There should be a helpline, a special 0800 number that says that you need help, call this number. But if that's not the case, I should hope that at least one person can find someone they can talk to, a family member they can trust, someone at school, your teacher, or very close friends. That there should be that someone you can go with to talk to help you in a particular situation.
Um, why do so many people feature an indifferent attitude toward violence?
Well, I think violence is perhaps uh, uh, very common in many cultures. People don't think much of it because it's always been there, and in some cases, it's actually just accepted, and they just don't worry too much about it. Many people come from a background where they live a very comfortable life. They don't need to fight. They don't need to take public transport. They sit in their nice cars and they just drive to a safe place and come back, and it's just not something they think is real. They see it on television, but some of them don't actually realize that it actually does occur and happen.
Okay. And how do parents react when they find out about their children behaving aggressively?
Well, as a parent, for me, I don't know. I would be very very surprised, because I feel I have a good contact with my kids, and I would be very surprised if something like that happens. And most parents would be, and I believe a good parent would be concerned, and they would try to find a solution to the problem, and perhaps also, well, the most important, the reason why there was this act of aggression. So most good parents would react in a negative way. However, there are some parents who actually don't do too much about it. Some feel that, well, my child's trying to survive in school. It's part of survival. It's just normal, and they would even say, "Yeah, let's go for it. Fight for what you want in school and in your class, and be popular." But that's perhaps in the minority. I think that the tendency is changing more for parents being concerned about it.
Okay. And are there any workshop or coping with violence available?
I don't know. I am not aware of any such thing, to be honest. I'm not very much aware of this, especially in Poland, where Polish is not my first language. But I certainly hope there is.
And throughout the years, have you noticed any changes on the issue of aggression?
I think so. I think there's been more debate about it. People speak more about it. People are more aware of it. Even though they are indifferent